Hello, and welcome to this guided meditation. I am Coach Angeline Wimbush, and I am sharing with you a guided meditation that focuses on forgiving. In particular, this is focusing on forgiving your father and healing that inner conflict that you have about forgiving your father. So whether you call your father dad or pops or father, I always call my father dad, so I'm going to be referring to dad as I go through this guided meditation. This is from the Healing Waterfall. The author has authorized any therapist or mindfulness leader or instructor to be able to use this as a part of our supportive healing for our clients. In the Healing Waterfall, he speaks of just how when we're younger, as an infant, toddler, we look up to our parents. We think the world of them. And as we get older and start to realize that they have flaws and they are maybe doing things that we don't understand or we are hurt by, and it may be intentional or non-intentional, it just creates some emotional patterns that we end up sometimes adopting ourselves and becoming ourselves, or we wrestle with as we become adults and older, and we start to realize that there's a different way that our parents could have done this or that better. But this guided meditation is really going to help you to be able to forgive and release, and releasing that negativity you may have and be able to open a clear space inside of you. So as we go through this, think about how freeing it will be for you to be able to forgive. The forgiveness is not necessarily to condone or to justify or to praise the parents. It really is all about your healing. Make yourself comfortable and close your eyes. Take a moment to take in a deep, slow breath. Let go of any tension as you feel yourself sinking into the surface you're resting on. Become more still as you are comfortable and get relaxed. Take in another slow, deep breath and release your thoughts, letting them drift far away. Take another slow, deep breath and know that in this moment, all is well. Now imagine you're walking down the street in a friendly city. You're carrying an umbrella because it's a rainy weekday afternoon. You have some time on your hands, and when you spot the movie theater, you decide to see what is playing. It's an old theater with ornate colored scroll work and a big marquee overhead. Though the marquee is blank, there's a ticket booth in front, and as you walk up, you find it empty, but there's a note taped to the window. The note has your name on it, followed by the words, "Come in." Puzzled but anxious to get out of the rain, you enter the lobby. You find it empty, and you approach the swinging doors that go into the theater. You step into a beautiful old movie room with ornate wall decorations. There's thickly upholstered seats, carpet with swirling patterns, and maroon velvet curtains covering a large screen. You are the only person here, so find a seat wherever you wish and get comfortable. The curtains part, the house lights dim, and the screen fills with your father's name, followed by the subtitle, The Early Years. As the film begins, you can see it's a home movie. The print a bit scratchy and worn, possibly even in black and white. There your dad is as an infant, being held by his mother. Notice whether his father is in the scene and what is he doing? How does his father seem to behave? And what is his attitude toward your father? As a baby, does it seem like your father is being well cared for by both his parents? The scene changes, and now your dad is a toddler, just as vulnerable as you were at that age. You can see him looking up at his parents for love and reassurance, perhaps unsure of receiving it. His parents may be attentive, or they may be busy with other things. Watch for a moment and see how it goes. Now he's a young boy, and perhaps he's picking up his own father's traits. Or maybe his father isn't in the picture. He may not have much exposure to his father, and what he has may or may not be positive. But you can see that as he grows into his teenage years, he's got challenges. Things are not always easy, and his life isn't perfect. Take a moment to watch things unfold. Now, your dad becomes a young adult, learning to make his way in the world with faults and fears, strengths and weaknesses like everyone else. He's a human being, shaped by his family and the events that happen to him, doing the best he can. Watch him through life for a bit and see if you can get a feel for what it's like to be in his shoes. The scene fades at this point, and the movie stops for a moment. As you sit in the theater, you may notice that you're feeling a little differently about your dad, with a new perspective. He was your dad, but also he was a man, in some ways ordinary, perhaps in some ways unique, but with a life full of his own challenges and concerns. Of course, he fell short of being the perfect dad, but really, there is no perfect dad, and he did the best he could do under the circumstances that shaped him as a person. Take a moment and do your best to feel empathy for him and his struggle in life. The movie begins again, but this time it's not a home movie, but more of a Hollywood production in full color. This is a movie about what your dad would have liked your life to be together, if it could have been. You're about to enter the picture, and he's there with your mother when you're born. He's holding you in his arms, totally focused on you, gently rocking you and speaking quietly. and telling you how glad he is to see you. There you are, together, a little later, when you're learning how to walk, as he's holding your hands, catching you, or helping you up when you fall down. He talks with you, encourages you, hugs you, and lets you know how much he loves you by his actions and his words. He's your dad, and he makes you feel safe and good. Now, you're 7 years old, sitting with your family at the dinner table next to your dad. He's happy, and he looks at you and smiles. The two of you are talking about something, maybe joking around a little, and there's an easy, comfortable feeling between you two. But he's still your dad, and you know that whatever happens, he'll be there for you. He lets you know where the boundaries are, and you know how he expects you to behave. And because of all that, you admire and respect him, just as he loves and appreciates you. You're a teen now, and you and your dad are doing something together that you both enjoy. Perhaps something he taught you or introduced you to. That easy feeling and good connection is still there between you. You're having a conversation now, and he's listening to what you have to say. He's taking it in. He says something back that lets you know that he understands, that he supports you. And perhaps he has a suggestion you feel good about. The movie ends at this point, and as the house lights come up a little, you feel someone sit down next to you. You turn and find your dad there with you in the theater on this rainy afternoon. He's not perfect, but he's real, and he's your dad. Take some time to be with your dad now, and let your time together unfold peacefully. Say whatever you need to say to your dad now as he listens, hears, and understands you, perhaps as never before. Now give your father a chance to speak to you, to perhaps say things he has never been able to say. Things that would be most important for you to hear. As you sit here in the theater on this rainy afternoon, you may notice that your feelings towards your father have softened. It's lighter and becomes more neutral. Your father will always remain a part of you, but you are a very different person. You're different than he is, and you're free to be yourself, to live your life as the unique individual you are. If your dad had the freedom of spirit to allow it, he would surely want it that way. It will soon be time to bring this journey to a close. But first, take a moment to thank your dad for bringing you into the world and passing down to you all the good things that he did. And take time to thank yourself for giving yourself this gift. Bring your awareness back to the room, gently back to your physical surroundings. Take your time, and when you're ready, open your eyes and feel awake, alert, and refreshed. This was the Healing Waterfall by Max Highstein. And this was the Forgiving Your Father, Healing Inner Conflict About Your Dad. Be well.